The second coalition fleet dropped out of hyperspace in perfect formation. Space rippled once, then settled. 3 shining dreadnoughts led the way, each the size of a small moon, hulls gleaming white and gold under running lights. 12 sleek cruisers flanked them like silver knives, engines humming clean blue fire. Science ships trail behind, sensor arrays already spinning, hungry for data. On the bridge of the flagship Eternal Grace, Admiral Korran Vey stood at the center command platform. He was tall, smooth-skinned, from the ancient Lyran race, pale violet skin, long silver hair tied in a warrior knot, eyes like polished obsidian. His uniform was crisp, metals heavy on his chest. He felt calm, superior. This was routine, a cleanup mission, a footnote in coalition history. Status report, he said. Voice smooth, commanding. The tactical officer of feathered Aviara tapped her console. Formation stable. All shields at full. Sensors sweeping the dead zone edge. No immediate contacts. Korran nodded. Good. Begin wideband scan. Look for the signal source. Look for anything that does not belong. The bridge crew moved with practiced grace. Holographic displays bloomed around them, star maps, energy readings, thermal ghosts. The dead zone stretched ahead, black, empty, thin stars. Forbidden for centuries. Now, just another problem to solve. A junior sensor tech raised a hand. Admiral, faint anomalies. Scattered. Low power. Could be debris. Could be nothing. Korran stepped closer. Show me. The display zoomed. Tiny green blips flickered at the zone's border. Not ships. Not stations. Just echoes. Brief pulses. Gone as fast as they appeared. Probably old human junk, the tactical officer said. Satellites that survived the bombardment. Drifting. Korran's lips curved in faint amusement. Probably. But mark them. We leave no loose ends. He turned to the main viewport. The blue-green planet waited in the distance, small at first, growing larger with every passing minute. Scans already painted it. Atmosphere stable, surface lights visible, green patches where there should be only glass. His obsidian eyes narrowed. Impossible, he muttered. The science officer, a crystalline being like Thalkayar, but smaller, pulsed softly. Readings confirm it, Admiral. Breathable air. Biosigns. Cities. The planet is alive. Murmurs spread across the bridge. Korran raised one hand. Silence returned. Open a channel, he ordered. Wideband. Coalition standard. Let them hear us. The comms officer nodded. Channel open, sir. Korran straightened. Voice clear. Authoritative. This is Admiral Korran Vey of the Coalition, Second Fleet. We have detected your signal. We know you exist. Surrender immediately. Power down all weapons. Prepare for boarding and inspection. Any resistance will be met with overwhelming force. You have 5 minutes to respond. He cut the transmission. Let the words hang in the void. The bridge waited. No answer came. Korran smiled thinly. They are listening. They are afraid. The tactical officer frowned. Sir, new contacts. Multiple. Small. Fast. Closing from the asteroid belt. Korran leaned forward. Show me. The display shifted. Dozens of tiny shapes darted from rock shadows. Not fighters. Not drones. Something smaller. Stealthy. They moved in perfect silence, no engine flare, no heat signature. Stealth drones, the science officer said. Human design. Modified. Korran's smile faded. Shields to maximum. Track them. Do not fire yet. The small shapes brushed the outer cruisers. No impact. Just a graze. Shields flared blue for a heartbeat, then dimmed in spots. Not damaged. Tested. One cruiser reported. Minor energy drain. Localized. They tasted our shields. Korran's jaw tightened. Pattern match, he ordered. See if they repeat. The drones circled wider. Grazed again. Different cruisers this time. Shields flickered in the same pattern. The science officer pulsed brighter. They're mapping weak points. Learning our shield harmonics. Korran felt the first cold touch of unease. Target the lead drone. Fire a warning shot. Low yield. A turret on the nearest cruiser swiveled. A thin beam lanced out bright white. The lead drone twisted. moved faster than physics should allow. The beam missed by meters. Then it vanished. All the drones vanished. Gone. The bridge stayed quiet. Korran stared at the empty display. "They are playing," he said softly. The tactical officer swallowed. "Sir, incoming hail." From the planet. Korran straightened. On screen, the main viewer flickered. Static cleared. A scarred human face appeared. Female. Brown eye sharp. Blue implant glowing cold. Patched armor. Tired smile. Captain Mara Kane. She spoke calm. Clear. "Admiral Vey, you asked for surrender. Here is our answer." Behind her, the bridge of her ugly warship showed rows of humans at stations. Hard faces. Old guns. No fear. Mara leaned closer to the camera. "You should have left us alone." The feed cut. Alarms screamed across the fleet. Multiple signatures erupted from the dead zone. Not small. Large. Dozens. Ugly hulls rising from asteroid shadows. Guns hot. Engines roaring dirty orange. And from the planet black spheres launched in waves. Silent. Fast. Hungry. Korran's voice snapped. All ships battle stations. Shields full. Weapons free. The eternal grace shook as the first sphere struck a cruiser's hull. Clean cut. No explosion. Just silence. And darkness spreading. The Admiral stared at the viewport. The dead zone was no longer empty. It was alive. And very, very angry. "Scan the dead zone," Admiral Korran Vey ordered. His voice stayed calm, but his obsidian eyes narrowed at the main viewport. The blue-green planet grew larger ahead, too alive, too bright for a graveyard world. The science officer, a tall, multi-tentacled being from the Sephir race, moved fast. Tentacles danced over glowing controls like living wires. Data streams flowed across every console. Thermal bands. Gravitational ripples. Energy signatures. All of them. The officer's main eye cluster blinked once, twice. "Sir, there's nothing." Korran turned sharply. "Nothing." The Sephir's tentacles paused. No ships. No stations. No heat blooms. No drive wakes. Just empty space, and that old human signal still repeating. "This is Earth. If you hear this, run." Same loop. Same strength. Coming from the planet's surface. A low murmur spread across the bridge. Korran stepped to the tactical display. The green blips from earlier, the tiny anomalies had vanished completely. No trace. No debris. Nothing. "Run a deep sweep," he said. "Full spectrum. Push the arrays to maximum. If something is hiding, we will find the shadow it casts." The Sephir nodded. Tentacles blurred again. Power diverted. Sensors reached deeper into the black. Minutes passed. The bridge stayed quiet except for soft beeps and the hum of systems. Then the officer's voice cracked slightly. "Admiral, still nothing. But the planet's readings are changing. Surface lights are steady, no flicker, no panic. Atmosphere stable. Biosigns increasing slightly. As if they are waiting." Korran's silver hair shifted as he leaned closer to the display. The planet filled half the screen now. Cities outlined in warm gold. Green fields. Rivers catching starlight. It looked peaceful. Normal. Too normal. "Impossible," he muttered again. "We glassed that world. Radiation should still burn the surface. Nothing grows there." The tactical officer, a young aviara with sharp golden feathers, spoke up. "Sir, the signal source is pinpointed. A large structure on the equatorial coast. Open air. No shielding. They are broadcasting from the middle of a city square." Korran stared at the zoomed image. A wide plaza. Tall buildings patched from old metal and new stone. People moving below, small dots, but human-shaped. Walking. Working. Living. His hand tightened on the rail. "They mock us," he said quietly. The Sephir's tentacles froze. "Sir, new anomaly. Gravitational distortion. Coming from the asteroid belt behind us." Korran spun. "Show me." The display shifted. Space rippled faintly, tiny waves spreading outward. No visible source. No ship silhouette. "Stealth field?" the aviara asked. "Or something better?" Korran answered. He straightened. "All ships. Titan formation. Shields interlinked. Weapons hot, but hold fire. We do not shoot shadows." The fleet adjusted. Dreadnoughts pulled closer. Cruisers overlapped shield bubbles. A wall of white and gold against the black. Korran opened the wideband channel again. This is Admiral Vey. We see your cities. We see your people. You have rebuilt what should have stayed dead. Surrender now. Land your vessels. Shut down the signal. Or we will do it for you. He cut the feed. Silence on the bridge. Then the comms officer's feathers ruffled. Sir, reply incoming. Audio only. Korran nodded. Play it. The speakers crackled. A woman's voice rough, tired, calm. Admiral, you see our cities because we let you see them. You hear our signal because we want you to hear it. You think this is your cleanup. A short pause. It is ours. The line went dead. Alarms blared sharp, urgent. Multiple launches, the tactical officer shouted. From the planet. Black spheres hundreds. Closing fast. Korran's eyes widened. Evasive. Point defense online. Shoot them down. Turret batteries roared. Beams lanced out white fire, cutting the dark. Some spheres twisted. Dodged. Vanished in micro-jumps. Others took hits, exploded in violet flashes. But more came. Wave after wave. One sphere struck a trailing science ship. Clean hole through the hull. No explosion. Lights died section by section. The ship drifted silent. Panic touched the bridge. Shields holding. Korran barked. Barely, the Zephyr answered. They adapt. Each hit teaches them. Our harmonics are shifting too slow. Korran stared at the viewport. The planet loomed closer. Cities glowed brighter now, as if daring them. From the asteroid belt, larger shapes emerged. Ugly hulls. Patched armor. Guns hot. Engines burning dirty orange. Dozens. Hundreds. Rising like ghosts from forgotten graves. Korran's voice dropped low. All ships battle formation. Target the planet. Orbital strike on the signal source. Burn it clean. But even as he spoke, the first ugly warship powered weapons. A beam thick, red lanced across the void. It struck a cruiser's flank. Shields flared. Then collapsed. The ship listed. Atmosphere vented in white clouds. Korran watched. The dead zone was no longer empty. It was full of teeth. And those teeth remembered every name. The Admiral gripped the rail tighter. This was no cleanup. This was awakening. And the galaxy would never be the same. Admiral Korran Vey stared at the empty sensor display. The Zephyr science officer's tentacles still hovered over the controls, waiting for new data that never came. The repeating human signal droned on in the background, soft, endless. This is Earth. If you hear this, run. Korran's thin lips curved into a smile. Not warm, not triumphant, just cold satisfaction. His obsidian eyes gleamed under the bridge lights. Good, he said. There was a dying trick, a final scream from a dead race. He turned to the comms officer squat, four-eyed being from the Grun cluster. The officer's outer eyes blinked fast in surprise. Broadcast on all channels, Korran ordered. Wideband, every frequency. Coalition standard first, then every known human dialect from the archives. The Grun nodded. Fingers thick as branches tapped the panel. A green light flashed, transmitting. Korran straightened. His voice filled the bridge speakers first, then blasted into the void. This is Admiral Korran Vey of the Coalition of Civilized Species, commanding the Second Fleet aboard the Eternal Grace. We have entered your forbidden zone. We detect your signal. We see your false lights on a dead world. Any remnant human presence must surrender immediately. Power down all systems. Open docking bays. Prepare for inspection and relocation. Resistance will be met with full orbital purge. You have 10 minutes. Respond now or burn. The words echoed across the fleet. Every dreadnought, every cruiser, every science ship heard them. Live feeds back to high command carried them to thousands of citizens watching, nodding, smiling. On the bridge, the crew relaxed slightly. Feathers smooth. Tentacles uncoiled. The tactical Aviara officer spoke up. Sir, if they had ships, we would see them by now. Deep scans show only cold asteroids. The planet's lights are surface only. No orbital defenses. No hidden fleets. Korran nodded. Primitives playing at civilization. They rebuilt bunkers. Lit a few bulbs. Sent a ghost signal to scare scavengers. Now they face real power. The Sephir Science Officer pulsed agreement. Radiation scrub traces match human tech slow, dirty. Biosigns are low. Maybe thousands, not millions. They survived as rats, not warriors. Korran paced to the viewport. The blue-green planet filled the stars now. Oceans sparkled. Continents green. Cities twinkled like defiant fireflies. 10 minutes, he said. Then we glassed the signal source. Leave the rest for study. The bridge clock ticked down. 9 minutes. 8. No response. 7. The Grun comms officer shifted. Sir, faint interference on secondary bands. Not a reply. Just noise. Korran waved it off. Static from their junk. Ignore. 6 minutes. The planet grew larger. Scans deepened. City grids sharpened streets. Towers. Even moving vehicles. But no ships rose. No weapons powered. 5. A junior engineer whispered. Admiral Gravity readings off. Tiny pulls from the asteroid belt. Like something massive is drifting. Korran turned. Show me. The display flickered. Space bent in subtle waves. Not empty. Not still. Shadows hinted at shapes long, jagged, hidden. Optical illusion, the Aviara said quickly. Sensor ghosts from the thin stars. For minutes. The signal changed. No longer a loop. A single voice broke through rough, female calm. Admiral Vey, you call us rats. You call our home dead. You give 10 minutes. Silence on the bridge. You glassed our cities, boiled our seas, killed our children, and you think 10 minutes pays that debt. Korran's smile vanished. Who is this? The voice laughed cold, tired. Captain Mara Kane, last of the free humans. And your final mistake. 3 minutes. Alarm screamed. Contacts, the tactical officer yelled. Everywhere. Asteroids cracking open. Ugly ships rising patch hulls. Railguns hot. The viewport lit up. Dozens of warships erupted from rock shells. No grace. No shine. Scrap metal welded into beasts. Engines roared dirty orange. Guns thousands tracked the fleet. From the planet, black spheres launched. Not hundreds. Thousands. Silent arrows streaking up. 2 minutes. Korran gripped the rail. Point defense. Fire everything. Shields maximum. Beams lanced out. Spheres dodged. Twisted. Some exploded in violet fire. Others pierced clean hull breaches on 2 cruisers. Lights died. No blasts. Just quiet death. 1 minute. The ugly flagship appeared massive, scarred. Words glowed red on its side. We remember your names. Mara's face returned on screen. You want to surrender? She said. Here it is. Behind her, humans filled the bridge. Hard eyes. Patch gear. Ready. We surrender nothing. 0. The first railgun volley hit. The eternal grace shook. Shields flared red. A cruiser exploded, real fireball this time. Korran stared at the chaos. Not a dying scream. A roar. From the dead. The Admiral whispered. All ships engage. But the shadows had teeth. And they bit deep. The message from Admiral Korran Vey echoed into the void. Clear. Firm. Final. Thousands of coalition citizens back home watched the live feed, nodding along. The Admiral's words carried the weight of certainty, surrender, or burn. Simple. Clean. Done. No answer came. Only the same tired human recording played back across every open channel. Soft. Relentless. Like a heartbeat that refused to quit. This is Earth. If you hear this, run. The words looped. Once. Twice. Again. No variation. No new voice. Just that rough, exhausted tone from centuries past. Now, somehow fresh and close. On the bridge of the eternal grace, the Grun comms officer's 4 eyes blinked in sequence. Sir, the reply is automatic. It's the same source as the original signal. No live transmission. No negotiation. Korran's thin smile returned. Then they have no spine left to negotiate with. A dead race's last echo. Pathetic. He turned to the tactical display. The planet loomed large now. Blue oceans, green landmasses, city lights steady and bright. No panic. No blackout. No ships rising to meet them. 10 minutes expired. The Aviara tactical officer reported. No surrender. No response beyond the loop. Korran nodded once. Orbital strike authorized. Target the equatorial signal source. Low-yield kinetic rods first crater the plaza. Show them we are serious. Then plasma lances if they still play dead. The weapons officer, a scaled Draken, grinned, teeth sharp. Rods away in 30 seconds. Targeting locked. The bridge hummed with purpose. Crew moved fast. Displays showed impact predictions, red crosshairs over the glowing city square. Clean, precise, merciful in coalition terms. The first kinetic rod launched from the lead dreadnought. A streak of dull metal, no fire, just gravity and speed. It fell toward the planet like judgment. Seconds stretched. Then the rod vanished. Not exploded, not deflected. Simply gone. Mid-flight. No flash. No debris. Alarms chirped soft at first. Contact lost on Rod 1, the weapons officer said. Confusion in his voice. Another rod launched. Same path. Same speed. Gone again. The bridge went quiet. Korran stepped forward. Explain. The Sephir science officer's tentacles trembled. Unknown intercept. No energy signature. No weapon trace. The rods disappeared. Korran's obsidian eyes hardened. Launch a full salvo. 10 rods. Now, 10 streaks fell. 10 vanished. Silence thicker than vacuum. The repeating message played again, louder now, as if the signal had grown stronger. This is Earth. If you hear this, run. The Aviara officer's feathers ruffled. Sir, new readings. Gravitational anomalies multiplying. Around the fleet. Inside our formation. Korran looked at the tactical map. Space bent in tiny pockets. Not ships. Not mines. Just folds. Ripples. Like the void itself breathing. Shields to combat spread. He ordered. Point defense hot. If anything moves. A cruiser on the flank screamed over comms. Bridge breach. Something inside black sphere cutting through bulkheads. The feed cut to static. Another cruiser reported the same. Then a science ship. Silent cuts. No explosions. Just holes appearing. Lights dying section by section. Korran gripped the rail. Countermeasures. EMP burst. Full spectrum. The eternal grace fired. Wide blue wave rolling out. The spheres did not slow. They adapted. One appeared on the main viewer. Black, smooth, hovering just outside the viewport. It pulsed violet once, then passed through the shield like smoke. Crew on the bridge froze. The sphere floated closer, stopped inches from the glass. Inside it, faint images flickered. Faces. Human faces. Children in tunnels. Cities burning 400 cycles ago. Names scrolling, slow coalition names. Votes. Orders. Signatures. Korran stared. The sphere spoke not through speakers. Through every mind on the bridge. A woman's voice. Calm. Tired. Certain. You gave us 10 minutes. We give you one truth. The images sharpened. A scarred woman, Captain Mara Kane, looked straight at them. You glassed our home. Called us extinct. Built your empire on our ashes. Now you come to finish the job. A short pause. We kept records too. The sphere pulsed brighter. Run, Admiral. While you still can. It vanished. No trace. The repeating signal returned louder, clearer. This is Earth. If you hear this, run. Korran's hand shook once. He forced them still. Full retreat pattern, he snapped. All ships reverse course. Hyperspace jump. Now, the fleet turned clumsy, panicked. Engines flared. But the ugly warships were already there. Rising from every shadow. Railguns hot. Spheres swarming like angry bees. A dreadnought exploded, real fire this time. Korran stared at the chaos. Not a dying scream. A promise kept. The void had teeth, and they were closing. Suddenly, every screen on the flagship Eternal Grace flickered. Static rolled across displays like dirty water. Consoles beeped in panic. Holograms stuttered. Crew members slapped panels, trying to regain control. Then the static cleared. A single human face filled every bridge in the fleet. Not small, not cornered. Full screen. Overriding every feed, every tactical map, every live broadcast back to high command. A woman. Scarred. Lines crossed her cheek like old lightning. One eye brown and sharp, the other glowing faint blue, machine cold. Dark hair pulled back tight. Patched armor. No makeup. No fear. She smiled. Small. Tired. Dangerous. The smile did not reach her eyes. Across the fleet, bridges went dead quiet. Officers froze. Crew stared. Even the automated systems paused, as if the ship itself held its breath. The woman spoke. Voice calm. Clear. Perfect coalition standard. Hello, Admiral Vey. Hello, fleet. Hello, galaxy watching at home. She leaned closer to whatever camera she used. The image sharpened. Behind her, rows of humans at stations. Hard faces. Old weapons. No panic. Just readiness. You came to finish us, she said. You came to glass our world again. You came to write extinct one more time. A short pause. The smile faded a fraction. We kept records too. The image shifted, not cut, but overlaid. Faint ghosts appeared around her face. Old footage. Human cities burning under coalition fire. Children running. Oceans boiling. Names scrolling, slow coalition names. Admirals. Council members. Votes. Dates. Signatures. Every bridge saw them. Every citizen watching live saw them. The woman Mara Kane continued. 400 cycles. We waited. We hid. We rebuilt. While you built statues to your victory. While you taught your children we were monsters who killed ourselves. While you forgot. Her blue eye glowed brighter. We did not forget. The overlay vanished. Only her face remained. You gave us 10 minutes to surrender. We give you one truth. She looked straight into the camera, straight at Korran, at every officer, at every watcher. You did not kill us all. You only made us patient. The bridge alarm screamed new contacts. Dozens. Hundreds. Ugly warships rising from asteroid shadows. Patched hulls. Dirty engines. Railguns charging with low growls. Black spheres swarmed from the planet, thousands now. Silent. Fast. Hungry. Mara's voice stayed even. You think numbers win. You think shields win. You think fire wins. She shook her head once. Memory wins. The image flickered. Her face split into multiple feeds, one for each dreadnought bridge. Each cruiser. Each science ship. In every one, she looked at them directly. Run, Admiral, while your ships can still jump. Korran slammed a fist on the rail. Trace the intrusion. Cut the feed. Fire everything. The Sefer science officer's tentacles flew. We can't trace its signal, is inside our systems. Adaptive code, learning from every block. A cruiser exploded on the tactical display, violet flash, then silence. Another followed. Korran stared at Mara's face. You are ghosts, he snarled. Mara laughed short, cold. Ghosts don't bleed. Ghosts don't remember names. Ghosts don't come back with teeth. Her image leaned closer. We're not ghosts, Admiral. We are the debt you thought was paid. The feed cut. Every screen returned to normal tactical maps. Sensor data, chaos. Alarms wailed louder. Fleet-wide damage, the Aviara tactical officer shouted. 3 cruisers down. Shields failing on Dreadnought 2. Spheres adapting, our point defense can't lock. Korran's hands shook once. He forced them still. All ships concentrate fire on the planet. Glass the signal source. Burn it clean. But even as the order left his lips, the ugly flagship appeared on the main viewer, massive, scarred. Red words glowing across its bow. We remember your names. Railgun spoke. Beams thick as rivers struck the Eternal Grace's flank. Shields flared red, then cracked. Sparks flew across the bridge. Crew shouted. Korran stared at the viewport. The dead zone was no longer dark. It was full of fire. And the fire remembered. Mara's voice echoed, one last time soft, final through every speaker. Run. The repeating signal returned underneath it, louder than before. This is Earth. If you hear this, run. But the fleet could not run fast enough. Spheres cut deeper. Ugly ships closed. And the debt 400 cycles old came due. Hello, neighbors, Mara Kane said. Her voice was calm, almost friendly. You came a long way to visit a dead world. That's sweet, but you should have stayed home. The words came through every speaker on every coalition ship. Not hacked this time. Invited. The fleet's own comm channels carried them clear and warm, like a neighbor calling across a fence. No static, no distortion, just her. On the bridge of the Eternal Grace, Admiral Korran Vey felt the air turn thick. Crew members looked at each other. Tentacles froze. Feathers stood on end. The repeating signal had stopped. Only Mara remained. She appeared again on the main viewer. Full screen, no overlay. Behind her, the ugly warship's bridge looked lived in. Patched panels, flickering lights. Humans at stations with old rifles resting easy. No panic, no rush. Just quiet work. Mara tilted her head slightly. The blue glow from her implant, I caught the light. You brought 3 dreadnoughts, she continued. 12 cruisers. Science ships to take notes. Medals on your chests. Cheers back home. You thought this would be easy. A quick burn. A history lesson for your children. She smiled again, small, tired, real. We thought the same thing 400 cycles ago. You came with fire. We had nothing left but hope and holes in the ground. So we went underground. We waited. We learned. Korran slammed the commute. Cut her off. Now. The Grun Comms officer's hand shook. I can't, sir. The channel is ours. She's inside. Mara kept talking, voice unchanged. You glassed our cities, boiled our seas, killed our families. Then you wrote us out of your books, called us primitives, called us gone, built your pretty empire on our graves. Her tone stayed friendly, almost kind. That was rude. The tactical display lit up, new contacts blooming everywhere. Ugly warships emerging from asteroid cracks. Not dozens, hundreds. Patch hulls, dirty engines, railguns charging with low orange glows. Black spheres rising from the planet in perfect waves, silent, endless. Mara leaned closer. But we forgave the rudeness. We waited. We rebuilt. We taught our children your names, your faces, your votes. We kept score. She paused. Let the words settle. Now you visit again. With more fire, more ships, more certainty. Her smile faded. We don't forgive twice. Korran roared. All ships, full barrage. Target her flagship. End this. The fleet answered. Dreadnoughts roared. Beams lanced out. White fire cutting the dark. Railguns spoke in thunder. Missiles streaked. The ugly warships did not flinch. They moved. Fast. Coordinated. No elegant turns, just brutal efficiency. Spheres met beams mid-flight. Absorbed, redirected, sent back hotter. One dreadnought's shield collapsed in seconds. A railgun volley punched through its hull. Atmosphere vented. Lights died. Another cruiser spun. Engines cut by a single sphere. Silent. Clean. Korran watched. His voice dropped. Ow! Mara's face returned, split across every damaged bridge, still receiving. We learned from you, she said. Your shields. Your harmonics. Your arrogance. We waited 400 cycles to study the best teachers in the galaxy. A faint laugh, cold, short. Thank you for the lesson. The Eternal Grace shook. A sphere had slipped through, cut a perfect circle in the outer hull. Alarms wailed. Crew ran to seal bulkheads. Korran gripped the rail. Hyperspace jump. All ships, emergency recall. Engines whined. Space folded around the survivors. But Mara's voice followed, soft, final. Run if you want. We'll find you. We have time. The feed cut. The repeating signal returned. Louder, clearer, underlaid with a new layer. Thousands of human voices whispering names. Coalition names. Slow. Patient. This is Earth. If you hear this, run. On the bridge, silence fell. The Sephir Science officer's tentacles drooped. Admiral, we lost 7 cruisers. 2 dreadnoughts damaged. Spheres, they adapt faster than we can recalibrate. Korran stared at the viewport. The ugly fleet did not pursue. They held position, watching, waiting. The planet below glowed brighter. Cities alive, lights steady, no fear. Mara's voice echoed one last time. Private channel, just for him. Tell your council, Admiral. Tell them the children of Earth are awake. And we remember every name. The channel closed. Korran looked at his crew. Faces pale, eyes wide. He whispered, jump. Now. The Eternal Grace folded space, and fled. Behind them, the dead zone stayed quiet. But the debt was not paid. It had only started collecting. Admiral Korran Vey slammed a fist on the console. Sparks flew. The metal dinted under his pale violet skin. Trace that transmission. Find them. The science officer, a tall Sepher with trembling tentacles, shook from core to tip. Sir, the signal is coming from everywhere. It's inside our own network. They're already here. The bridge lights flickered once. Not power failure. Something else. Something deliberate. Every screen on the Eternal Grace, tactical maps, sensor feeds, damage reports, flashed with the same image. Mara Kane's face. Calm. Tired. Smiling. She did not speak this time. She simply looked at them. Through them. Into every officer's eyes on every bridge across the fleet. The repeating signal played underneath her face. Soft. Endless. This is Earth. If you hear this, run. Korran's obsidian eyes widened. Shut it down. Full system purge. Isolate the core. The Gruncom's officer's 4 hands flew across his panel. Trying, sir, but the code is rewriting itself. Every firewall we raise, it learns. Adapts. It's in the auxiliary systems. The backups. The life support. A low hum filled the bridge. Not mechanical. Organic. Like a heartbeat echoing through metal. The Sephir's tentacles curled tight. Sir, the spheres. They didn't just cut hulls. They left something behind. Adaptive nanocode. It's spreading through our networks like blood and water. Korran stared at Mara's frozen face on the screen. She blinked once. Slow. Deliberate. Then her voice returned, not from speakers. From inside their heads. Soft. Friendly. Terrifying. You built beautiful ships, Admiral. Clean lines. Perfect shields. Elegant code. You thought elegance would protect you. A short pause. We built ugly things. Patched. Scarred. Stubborn. We learned from your elegance how to break it. The lights dimmed. Emergency red bathed the bridge. Consoles started dying one by one. First navigation. Then weapons. Then shields. The tactical Aviara officer's feathers stood straight. Shield dropping. We're exposed. Korran roared. Manual override. Hard reboot the core. Too late. Mara's voice whispered again, inside every mind. You gave us 10 minutes. We give you 1 minute to understand. The screen split. Multiple feeds showed the fleet in chaos. Cruisers listing. Dreadnoughts venting atmosphere. Spheres drifting through breached hulls. Silent, surgical, unstoppable. One feed showed a black sphere hovering in a coalition corridor. Crew ran. Doors sealed. The sphere pulsed violet once. Then the corridor went dark. Mara's face returned. Full screen again. You called us primitives. You called us dead. You called us a cleanup. Her smile grew, just a fraction. We call it housekeeping. Korran's hand shook as he reached for the emergency jump control. Fleet-wide, emergency hyperspace. Coordinates. Anywhere. Engines whined. Space folded around the survivors. But Mara's voice followed. Clear, calm, final. You can run, Admiral. You can jump. You can hide. Her blue eye glowed brighter. But we remember every name. Every ship. Every order. The Eternal Grace jumped. Reality twisted. They emerged light years away. Wounded, bleeding atmosphere. Systems failing. The bridge went dark except for emergency strips. Korran stood alone in the red glow. Crew members slumped at stations. Some cried softly. Others stared at nothing. Mara's face lingered on one cracked screen. Faint, flickering. She spoke one last time, private just for him. Tell your council the truth, Admiral. Tell them humanity never left. The image faded. Only the repeating signal remained. Soft, tired, endless. This is Earth. If you hear this, run. Korran sank into his command chair. The debt was not paid. It had only begun. Far behind them, in the dead zone, the ugly warships held position. Spheres returned to silos. Railguns cooled. On the planet below, cities glowed steady. Children slept in beds. Adults stood watch. Mara Kane walked her bridge. The blue sphere floated at her shoulder. Quiet now. Waiting. She looked out at the stars. The fleet had run, but they would come back. They always did. And when they did, Earth would be ready. With teeth. With memory. With everything they had waited 400 cycles to give. Outside the fleet, the darkness moved. One by one, small black shapes appeared, tiny human fighters, no bigger than shuttles. They had no lights. No engines that glowed. They were painted black matte, light-eating black. Invisible until they were close enough to touch. They drifted silent through the void. No heat signature. No radar ping. No whisper of thrust. Just shadows wearing shadows. The coalition sensors saw nothing until the fighters were already among them. On the bridge of the Eternal Grace, alarm stayed quiet at first. The tactical display showed clear space. Empty. Safe. Then a single cruiser reported contact. Too late. Proximity alert. Something brushed our hull, port side. Korran spun toward the viewport. Nothing visible. Just black. The Aviara tactical officer's feathers flared. No signature. No mass reading. It's a soft thud echoed through the hull. Not an explosion. Not a ram. Just a gentle kiss of metal on metal. Then another. And another. The tiny fighters attached like leeches. Magnetic clamps locked. Hull sealed tight. Boarding tubes extended thin, flexible, silent. Inside one cruiser, crew heard the first hiss. Air recyclers stuttered. A maintenance hatch popped open without warning. Black armored figures dropped through small teams, 4 or 5 humans each. Patched suits, old rifles, faces hidden behind visors that glowed faint blue. They moved fast. No shouts. No wasted shots. Precise. Trained. A coalition security team rounded a corner. Plasma rifles raised. The humans fired first short bursts. Stun rounds. Not lethal. Not yet. Crew dropped. Unconscious. Breathing. The humans dragged them aside. Sealed the corridor. Moved deeper. On the Eternal Grace, Korran watched feeds from dying cruisers. One by one, screens went black. Not destroyed. Just taken. Boarders, the Sefer officer cried. Tentacles lashed in panic. They're inside the light of order. Hull breach sealed internal. Korran's voice cracked. Counterboard. Marines to every deck. Seal bulkheads. Too late. The tiny fighters had already latched on to the flagship. Soft thuds rippled along the hull. Clamps locked. Tubes connected. A maintenance hatch in engineering popped. Humans slipped inside, quiet ghosts in black. Engineers turned. Shouted. Reached for alarms. Stun rounds answered. Bodies fell. The humans moved to the core. Plugged small black devices into the main lines. Code flowed fast, adaptive, hungry. The Eternal Grace shuddered. Lights dimmed. Engines coughed. Korran stared at the internal cameras. Saw the black figures moving through corridors. Saw his crew fall. Saw control slip away deck by deck. Mara Kane's face returned, split across every remaining screen. Neighbors, she said again. Friendly. Almost kind. You really should have stayed home. She leaned forward. Your ships are beautiful. Clean. Perfect. But beauty breaks easy when ugly things get inside. Behind her, Jax the giant with metal arms stood silent. His red lens glowed steady. Mara continued. We waited 400 cycles to learn one simple thing. Elegance is fragile. Stubbornness is not. The bridge lights flickered again. Red emergency strips pulsed slow. Korran's voice rose desperate now. Who are you? What do you want? Mara's smile returned small, tired. We are the children you thought were dead. We want what you took. Names. Truth. Time. Her blue eye glowed brighter. You came to finish us. We came to remind you why you should never have started. The Sefer officer whispered, Sir, main core compromised. Hyperspace drive offline. Weapons offline. We're dead in space. Korran looked around the bridge. Crew pale. Eyes wide. Some prayed in low voices. Mara's voice softened. We could kill you all now. Easy. Clean. But we remember mercy too. The mercy you never showed us. A pause. So here is our offer. One time only. The repeating signal faded. Replaced by her words alone. Jump home. Tell your council the truth. Tell them humanity lives. Tell them we remember every name. Every ship. Every order. Her smile faded completely. Or stay. And we finish what you started. Korran's hand hovered over the emergency beacon. The tiny fighter stayed attached. Spheres hovered outside. Ugly warships circled slow. No escape. No fight left. Korran whispered, "Prepare a call jump. Emergency only. All survivors." Engines whined weak, wounded. Space folded one last time. The eternal grace fled. Behind them, the dead zone stayed quiet. The tiny fighters detached, drifted back to their carriers. Mara watched from her bridge. The blue sphere floated beside her, calm, patient. She placed a hand on it. "They ran," she said. The sphere pulsed once warm approval. Mara looked at the stars. "Good. Let them run. Let them tell." She turned to Jax. "Signal the fleet. Stand down. Repair. Rest." Jax nodded. Mara looked out at the planet home. Light steady. Life continuing. "They'll come back," she said quietly. Jax grunted. "They always do." Mara smiled small, dangerous. "Then we'll be waiting." The repeating signal started again, soft, tired, clear. "This is Earth. If you hear this, run." But this time the galaxy listened, and it ran. The first dreadnought fired warning shots. Plasma bolts lit the void, bright white spears cutting through the black. They were meant to scare, to show power, to force surrender. The tiny fighters danced between the beams like insects. Not one was hit. They moved wrong. Too fast. Too sharp. No predictable arcs. No engine glow to track. Just black shapes twisting at impossible angles. Dodging plasma as if they knew where it would be before it left the barrel. On the bridge of the Eternal Grace, Admiral Korran Vey watched the tactical display. Red warning lines crisscrossed the screen. Green dots, the tiny fighters, slipped through every gap. Untouched. "Impossible," he whispered. The Aviara tactical officer's feathers trembled. "Sir, their maneuverability exceeds our models. No inertia bleed. No heat wake. They're not burning fuel. They're falling through space." Another volley launched. 10 bolts. 20. Widespread. The fighters spun. Rolled. Slid sideways. One flipped upside down and passed between two beams, so close the plasma scorched its hull blacker, but did not touch it. A single fighter broke pattern. Darted straight at a cruiser's flank. No weapons fired. No ram. It simply touched the hull, gentle, magnetic. Then it stuck. Clamps locked. A thin tube extended. Air hissed. Inside the cruiser, alarms screamed. Crew ran to the breach point. The fighter's hatch opened. 5 humans in black suits dropped through, silent fast. Stun rifles up. Short bursts. Coalition security fell without a sound. The humans moved deeper. No shouts. No waste. They knew the ship layout better than the crew did. They had studied stolen blueprints for centuries. Korran's voice cracked. "Boarding teams. Counterboard now." But more fighters attached. Soft thuds rippled along every hull. Tubes connected. Black figures slipped inside like smoke. The Sephir Science officer's tentacles curled tight. "Sir, internal sensors failing deck by deck. They're plugging adaptive code into our systems. It's learning our security protocols, rewriting locks, turning our own doors against us." Korran stared at the viewport. The tiny fighters swarmed now, hundreds. They did not attack engines. They did not destroy weapons. They landed, boarded, took. Mara Kane's face returned on the main screen. Calm, almost amused. "Neighbors," she said, "your warning shots are pretty. Bright, loud, but pretty doesn't win fights." She leaned forward. "We learned to dance in the dark, while you built bright ships and brighter stories about your victory. We practiced dodging beams in asteroid tunnels. We taught our children to move without being seen. We made ugly little ships that don't glow, that don't scream, that just arrive." Her blue eye glowed steady. "You fired to scare us. We bored to remind you." The Eternal Grace shook. A fighter had attached near engineering. Crew reports flooded in, black figures moving through corridors. Stun rounds. Quiet takedowns. Systems failing one by one. Korran's hand hovered over the self-destruct panel. Mara's voice softened. "We could end this now. One command. One sphere to your core. Your fleet burns. Your name's added to our list." A pause. "But we remember mercy too. The mercy you never showed." Her smile returned, small, tired. So here's our offer. Again, one time only. The screen split. Every coalition bridge saw the same. Humans in their corridors. Not killing. Not torturing. Disarming. Binding. Guiding stunned crew to escape pods. We let you run, Mara said. Jump home. Tell your council. Tell your citizens. Tell your children the truth. Humanity lives. Humanity remembers. And humanity is coming. The image zoomed on her face. Or stay. And we finished the lesson. Korran looked at his crew. Faces pale. Weapons lowered. Some cried silently. He whispered, prepare emergency jump. All ships. Coordinates, high command. Maximum survivors. Engines whined, weak wounded. Space folded. The tiny fighters detached. Drifted back. Mara watched from her bridge. The blue sphere floated beside her, quiet. She touched it once. They ran, she said. The sphere pulsed, warm, approving. Mara looked at the stars. They'll tell. Jax grunted. And then, Mara smiled, small, dangerous. Then they come back. With more ships, more fire, more certainty. She turned to the viewport. The planet glowed below. Home. Alive. We'll be waiting. The tiny fighters returned to their carriers. Ugly warships held position. Spheres rested in silos. The repeating signal started again. Soft, clear. This is Earth. If you hear this, run. But this time the galaxy had heard. And it was running, with truth burning in its ears. Mara's face reappeared on the screens. Not hacked this time. Invited. Every coalition bridge, every surviving console, every live feedback to high command carried her image clear, steady, unblinking. We don't want your ships, she said. Her voice stayed calm, almost gentle. We want you to remember. 400 years ago, you called us monsters. You burned our worlds. You thought that was the end. She paused. Let the words settle into every ear, every mind. Behind her, the ugly warship's bridge showed quiet activity. Humans at stations, men checking railgun coils, women calibrating sphere launchers, teenagers running messages between decks. No fear, no rush, just the steady rhythm of people who had waited lifetimes for this moment. Mara continued. You voted in clean chambers. You signed clean orders. You watched clean holograms of our cities turning to glass. Then you filed the reports. Extinction confirmed. You built museums to your mercy. You taught your children we were the cautionary tale, the violent primitives who destroyed themselves. Her blue eye glowed soft against the scarred skin. But we survived the glass. We survived the dark. We survived the silence. And while you celebrated, we remembered. The screen flickered. Not cut. Overlaid. Faint images appeared around her face, old footage, pulled from coalition archives, stolen long ago. Mushroom clouds rising over human cities. Children running from firestorms. Mothers shielding infants as orbital lances fell. Names scrolled, slow coalition admirals, council members, scientists who approved the bombardment. Dates. Votes. Signatures. Every watcher saw their own history reflected back. Mara's voice hardened, just a fraction. You thought memory dies with the witnesses. You were wrong. The overlays faded. Only her face remained. We kept records too. Every name, every face, every order. We carved them into stone. We taught them to our children. We whispered them in the tunnels while your empire grew fat and bright. She leaned closer. Now you visit again. With more ships, more fire, more certainty. You thought we would beg. You thought we would break. A small, tired smile touched her lips. We don't break easy. On the eternal grace, Admiral Korran Vey gripped the rail until his knuckles whitened. The bridge was half dark, systems failing, red strips pulsing slow. Crew members stared at Mara's face like it was a ghost made flesh. The Sefer Science officer whispered, Sir, internal breaches on Deck 7 through 12. They're not killing. They are containing, guiding our people to escape pods. Disarming, not slaughtering. Korran's voice cracked. Why? Mara answered as if she heard him across the light years. Because we remember mercy too. The mercy you never showed. We could end your fleet here. One command. Spheres to every core. Your name's added to our list, but that would make us like you. Her tone softened again. So we give you a choice. One last time. The screen split. Feeds from Coalition escape pods, launching slow, orderly. Humans in black suits escorted stunned crew to base. No chains, no violence, just quiet control. Run home, Mara said. Tell your council. Tell your citizens. Tell your children the truth. Humanity lives. Humanity remembers. And humanity is patient. She paused. Or stay. And we teach the final lesson. Korran looked around the bridge. Faces pale. Weapons lowered. Some crew already moving toward escape bays voluntary now. The fight gone out of them. He whispered. Prepare a call jump. All survivors. Maximum evacuation. Engines whined weak, wounded. Mara watched from her bridge. The blue sphere floated beside her calm, steady. They're running, Jack said. Mara nodded once. Let them. She looked out at the planet home. Cities glowing. Life continuing. They'll tell, she said quietly. The blue sphere pulsed warm, approving. Mara touched it once. And when they come back with more certainty, more fire will be waiting. The tiny fighters detached. Ugly warships held position. Spheres returned to silos. The repeating signal started again, soft, clear, underlaid with thousands of voices now. Whispering names. Coalition names. Slow. Patient. This is Earth. If you hear this, run. The eternal grace jumped. Reality folded. They fled. Behind them, the dead zone stayed quiet. But the memory stayed loud. And memory has teeth. She leaned closer to the camera. Her eyes were cold steel. It wasn't. The single word hung in the silence like a blade left in a wound. Mara Kane's voice stayed low, steady, almost gentle, but the gentleness had teeth. We crawled through the ashes. We rebuilt in the dark. And now, we're coming for the apology you owe us. On every coalition bridge, still receiving, the words landed like stones in still water. Ripples spread. Officers stared. Crew members froze mid-motion. Back on High Command's viewing galleries, thousands of citizens watched live feeds in stunned quiet. Glasses lowered. Cheers died. Children tugged at parents' sleeves, asking why the scary lady looked so sad and so angry at the same time. Mara did not blink. 400 cycles ago, you called it justice. You called it necessary. You called it mercy. You signed papers. You toasted victories. You built monuments to the end of human aggression. Her scarred cheek caught the bridge light, every line a story, every mark a name. We called it genocide. The screen flickered. Not cut. Layered. Faint images rose around her face again, old, grainy, pulled from archives the coalition thought buried. Human faces, not soldiers, not leaders. Mothers holding infants. Old men shielding families. Children running through streets that no longer existed. The footage had sound this time. Distant screams, orbital lances falling, voices crying names that matched the coalition list scrolling beside them. Every watcher saw someone they recognized. A great-grandparent's signature on a vote. An ancestor's face in a command chair. A family name on an order form. Mara continued. You thought the fire erased us. You thought the silence finished the job. You thought history belongs to the winners. She shook her head, once slow, final. History belongs to the ones who remember. The overlays faded. Only her face remained close, unflinching. We do not want your ships. We do not want your technology. We do not want your empire. Her voice dropped softer. We want the truth spoken aloud. In your clean chambers. On your bright worlds. To your children. We want you to say it. We were wrong. We committed a crime. We tried to erase a species because we feared what we did not understand. A short pause. And we want the apology. Not whispered. Not hidden in footnotes. Out loud. Where everyone hears. On the eternal grace. Admiral Korran Vey stood rigid. His pale violet skin had gone ashen. Crew members looked at him, some with horror, some with shame, some with dawning understanding. The Sephir Science officer whispered, Sir, internal teams report the borders are not destroying systems. They are copying data, downloading archives, leaving messages on every console. One line repeated. Korran's voice was hoarse. What line? The officer read from a cracked display. We remember your names. Do you remember ours? Mara's image spoke again, direct, personal. Admiral Vey, you gave the final order to fire the lances. Your signature is on the last bombardment log. Your voice approved the glassing of New Shanghai. Your family still displays the medal for pacifying the dead zone. Korran flinched, small, involuntary. Mara's steel eyes held him. We have that medal's twin. The one our last president pinned on a child soldier before the end. We kept it. We kept everything. She leaned back slightly. So here's our demand. Not surrender. Not destruction. Truth. The blue sphere floated into frame beside her, silent, glowing soft sapphire. It pulsed once, slow like a heartbeat. Return to your council. Tell them. Tell them we live. Tell them we remember. Tell them the apology is overdue. Her voice hardened just enough. And tell them if they refuse, we will come collect it ourselves. The screen went black. No static. No fade. Just gone. The repeating signal returned underneath, louder now, layered with thousands of human voices whispering the same names over and over. This is Earth. If you hear this, run. But no one ran. The fleet hung wounded in the void. Tiny fighters detached. Ugly warships circled slow. Spheres drifted back to silos. Mara turned from the camera. Looked at Jax. They heard, she said quietly. Jax nodded. His metal arms clicked softly. They'll tell. Mara walked to the viewport. The planet turned below home. Lights warm. Life steady. She placed a hand on the glass. And when they refused the apology, the blue sphere floated closer. Pulsed once warm, certain. We'll remind them why apologies matter. Far away, the eternal grace limped toward jump coordinates. Crew silent. Admiral broken. They would carry the message home. They would carry the truth. And the galaxy watching, listening, would never forget the face of the woman who asked for an apology and meant every word. The tiny fighters suddenly accelerated. They didn't fire weapons. Instead, they slammed into the shields of the nearest cruiser. Not hard, not explosive, just precise, gentle impacts, like fingers pressing a switch. The shields didn't break. They simply turned off. Every light on the cruiser died at once. Running strips, bridge glow, engine hum, all gone. The ship went dark and silent, drifting like a corpse in the void. No explosion, no venting atmosphere, no distress beacon, just nothing. On the bridge of the eternal grace, Admiral Korran Vey watched the tactical display turn black where the cruiser had been. 1 second green status. Next second empty space. Report, he snapped. The Sephir Science officer's tentacles shook so hard they slapped the console. Sir, no damage signature. No energy discharge. The shields deactivated themselves. Internal power grid collapsed. Life support offline. They're adrift. Crew unconscious. No fatalities detected. Korran's obsidian eyes flicked to the viewport. More tiny fighters moved black shapes against black. They touched other cruisers. Soft bumps. Lights died. Ships went quiet. One by one. The Aviara tactical officer whispered, "They're not killing us. They're shutting us down." Korran gripped the rail until the metal groaned. Countermeasures. EMP burst. Override the shield protocols. Too late. Another fighter touched the Eternal Grace's flank. A soft thud rippled through the hull. Shields flickered blue to black. Lights dimmed. Consoles sparked once, then died. Emergency red strips pulsed slow, then faded. The bridge plunged into near darkness. Only the glow from personal devices and the faint blue of Mara Kane's implant eye on the last working screen remained. She looked at them calm, patient. "You built beautiful shields," she said. "Clean code. Perfect harmonics. You thought elegance would protect you forever." A small shrug. "We learned elegance has switches." The blue sphere floated in a frame beside her, silent, glowing soft. It pulsed once, slow like a heartbeat counting down. Mara continued, "We don't need to burn your ships. We don't need to kill your crews. We just need you to listen." Her voice stayed gentle, almost kind. 400 cycles ago, you turned off our lights. Our cities. Our hope. You thought the dark would finish us." She leaned closer. We grew up in the dark. We learned to see in it. We learned to move in it. We learned to turn lights off when we needed to. The screen showed split feeds, Coalition escape pods launching from darkened ships. Slow, orderly. Humans in black suits guided stunned crew inside. No violence. No chains. Just quiet control. Mara's steel eyes held every watcher. You owe us an apology. Not for the fire. Not for the glass. For the silence after. For pretending we never existed. For teaching your children a lie. She paused. So here's how this ends. Not with your blood. With your voice. The blue sphere pulsed brighter. Jump home. Tell your council. Tell them humanity lives. Tell them we remember every name. Tell them the apology is long overdue. Her smile returned small, tired, certain. And tell them if they refuse, we know how to turn lights off. Everywhere. The image faded. The repeating signal returned soft, layered with thousands of human voices now. Whispering names. Coalition names. Slow. Patient. This is Earth. If you hear this, run. But the fleet could not run far. Engines were dark. Systems silent. Ships drifted wounded, powerless, alive. Escape pods launched in waves, Coalition crew guided to safety by human borders. No shots fired. No one harmed. Korran stood in the dying red light of his bridge. Crew members moved, slow, stunned, silent. Some wept quietly. He whispered to the empty screen. We'll tell them. Far away, Mara Kane watched the drifting fleet from her bridge. The tiny fighters returned, black shapes slipping back into asteroid shadows. Jack stood beside her. They're running, he said. Mara nodded. Let them. She looked down at the planet home. Cities glowing steady. Life continuing. The blue sphere floated close. Pulse once warm, approving. Mara touched it. They'll tell the truth, she said quietly. The sphere pulsed again. And if they don't, Mara's smile grew just a fraction. We'll remind them how easy it is to turn out the lights. The repeating signal played on, soft, clear, endless. This is Earth. If you hear this, run. But this time, the galaxy had no choice. It was already listening, and the dark remembered. The Coalition fleet drifts powerless in the dead zone. The humans could have ended them. They chose mercy instead. But mercy has conditions, and the apology is still owed. Stay with us for more episodes and subscribe for more.